What is up out there in the world of the land of the people who are on my page? All right. Shit. No. All right. Those. Okie dokie then. Turn the camera on here. Solo. How we all doing out there? Everybody having a lovely, wonderful day, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Light my little smelly good candle here. Maybe if I can get my lighter down in there to light the damn thing. I got an incense stick in here. I shall use it. It was in the wax. And fan. There we go. Put that back in there for later use. Okie dokie then. How's everybody out there in the lovely universe? I am about to have me some wonderful G13 as soon as I get this all situated. Maybe take this down a notch. Good. Down a notch. That's better. You were looking like way up in the air there for a minute. And I don't have to be all annoying and clean out my banger because I've already cleaned it out. Although I do have to be annoying, keep brushing my hair back out of my... No, I'm not supposed to have bangs, by the way. It's supposed to all be pulled up in a ponytail. But unfortunately, the front is still just short enough that when I pull it back, I end up with bangs. So it is what it is for now. It's better than just letting it hang down and then I end up with like a mop flopping around on top of my head. So it is what it is. I just flop my head down. Whatever falls, falls. And it gets tucked behind my ears like a pretty little girl. All right. So, by the way, to all the fathers out there, I hope everybody had a Father's Day, if that applies to you. And to all the mothers who, not who think they're men or who are transitioned, but all the mothers who are single mothers. Yeah, happy Father's Day to you too. And I am a believer in that. I used to tell my mom happy Father's Day because my dad was never around. So it had nothing to do with the fact that I thought she was a man or she was, what, you know what I mean? It was just respect because she was taking on both roles. All right, so what I want to discuss a little bit while I'm getting stoned out of my gourd is, well, one, I am in the process of writing down. My girlfriend got me a new little book to write in for Father's Day as well. But I'm writing down all of the, not all of, but I'm getting a whole bunch of all these boxes that I have sitting around, the whole tote full, and organizing the terpenes, in particular organizing. I'm writing down all of them because yes, I can look at it and like sit here and analyze it while I'm looking at it, but when I write stuff down, things jump out at me more. Like I'm actually, I don't know why, but it really does happen like that. When I write stuff down, I'm just able to see things better than when I'm just thinking about them. Yeah, people tell you to write down your thoughts. Well, there really is a reason to write down your thoughts, not just for the hell of it. It is helpful. It makes you think about things you might not have thought about otherwise. So I'm writing down all of the terpenes off of these profiles, and I noted something. Now, I have not looked into the specific genetics of this strain. It was golden pineapple crossed with cherry pie. Now, interestingly, it comes in with terpenylene dominance, but if I am correct, that is an indica dominant hybrid. And it also presents with 0.42% alpha pinene, no beta pinene. So once again, presentation of only alpha pinene, no beta pinene. So what is that? Terpologically, in the pinene ratio, that's one of the null answers. You get two answers that are non-answers. You have opposite that is not exactly opposite, but it's off. So say you have knowledge that this strain is a 60-40. You looked it up online, and you're just trying to get a better grasp of the entirety of it, how it might affect you experientially and things. So, and the pinene formula tells you that it's a 70-30. Okay, that is opposition or approximation of opposition. So an approximate opposite. The other instance in which the formula doesn't work, meaning it doesn't equate to what industry has found or close to. And it's not so much what industry's found, it's what the rest of the profile is speaking to. So it wouldn't make sense. I don't really know how to say that any more in depth. It's relative to the rest of the profile. Although that can get confusing because terpenylene being sativa presentation yet appearing on an indica, which is part of what I want to talk about. That happenstance, terpenylene appearing on indica landrace genetics, because I know cherry pie is very simple in its genetics. So I'm very confident in stating that the opposition in totality is due to golden pineapple might have a slightly hybridized, like a few crosses, maybe 3 or 4 crosses back to landrace. Cherry pie is significantly, it's not very complex, if I remember correctly. I didn't take time to look it up before I came on. However, blueberry yum yum is another example of this, okay? And I've had other examples where sativas or indicas that I did not even know had the ability to press terpenylene dominance, like Gorilla Glue number 4. I've had Gorilla Glue with terpenylene dominant in the profile, as well as a batch of Snoop Dogg OG. Both of those from Grow West, grown in Western Maryland, which I have a hypothesis that the climate or the elevation here is that has some effect on the cannabis insofar as at least the terpenylene pushing itself forward in the presentation. Also, well, I'm not going to go there. I also have a feeling that terpenylene is somehow also tied to alpha pinene, because alpha pinene, well, I'm not going to get into it, but I have a feeling that there's some relationship there other than just the fact that sativa, that they're both sativa identifying terpenes. Now, alpha pinene, I've also looked up more information as far as what the rest of society and the rest of the research community has found, which I've said many times, I like to do my own research, and then I'll look to research out there that's already out there to attempt to see if I'm correct, to try to validate what I'm saying, or see if I'm on the right path, or if what I came to is the exact same thing that the rest of research has already come to. Because if I come to it independently on my own, despite what some trolls think is reinventing the wheel, that is just telling me that I'm on the right path in the work that I'm doing. If I'm coming to the same answers that the research community is coming to, and I'm not lying to myself or manipulating things to get that to happen, I'm on the right path. I'm doing things at least in a similar way to come to the same conclusions that peer-reviewed researchers have. Now, and noting that, I have talked about the fact and about alpha pinene, all right, a lot. Alpha pinene, Dr. Bronner's work, one of the men I've been accused of copying the work of, I was looking at his work recently because I've had 3 people accuse me of his work, which, by the way, literally says in his work that more work is needed on what he was doing because, like I've said many times, they can't smoke it. They can't even study people who do smoke it. They can study independent aspects of the cannabis. If they get lucky, they can study some of the cannabis if the FDA, now the NIH, will let them. But we know not a whole lot. Anyway, Dr. Bronner, in his work, there was a graph that was showing alpha pinene, and I put some references down below. It's not Dr. Bronner's research. If you type in Dr. Bronner, B-R-O-N-N-E-R, you can find it. There's 3 references down below that talk about alpha pinene being the most prevalent terpene out of the terpene profile in cannabis. Now, it's just one piece of research that I've seen. Okay, just one simple piece of research. It was a graph that showed alpha pinene taking up like a significant chunk. Now, that might have been speaking only about sativas. When I was scrolling through, I was literally just scanning through research information, but that stuck out to me. Okay, alpha pinene and beta pinene made up just a sliver of the profile. Now, this makes sense given that, one, I see alpha pinene expressing independently, but I don't think I've ever seen a beta pinene expressed independently without alpha. Yet in indicas all the time, I'm finding alpha pinene presentation, which is characteristically representative of a sativa. That gives you opposition in totality if you apply it to the pinene lean formula, which is the formula I created to understand the relationship between alpha and beta pinene and indica and sativa cannabis relative to the aromatic profiles of alpha and beta pinene, which is what I wanted to get to just now, is that not only does alpha pinene constitute a larger portion of the profile, exponentially so, than beta pinene, which would make sense if indeed sativa is the precursor cannabis to indica. The theory is that sativas started in China and on the Silk Road made their way to and got seeded in the Himalayas, perfect breeding ground for microadaptation. Falls right down into Afghanistan, the mountains do. Microadaptation into the indica, which was then discovered in the late 1700s or the 1800s again. Indica, India. So if indeed sativa is a precursor, the mother of indica, it would make perfect sense that you would see more alpha pinene in the sativa, and that the terpene characteristic of indica aroma, you would find less of, meaning seeing the alpha pinene on its own and never seeing the beta pinene on its own. Now, the descriptive analysis of the aromatic profiles of alpha pinene and beta pinene also fall in line with what my nose has told me over time, and what I've talked about on here and on my locals and everything, about the difference, how alpha pinene is more pungent, it's a sharper note, it's a more piney, a more aromatically vibrant, think jungle, toucan Zen with the colored beak, very vibrant and expressive, whereas indica is much more earthy, herbal, spicy, think desert, dirt, right? Okay, so, and even the internet description says the same thing. They describe alpha pinene as a sharp, Piney, pungent, piney, really sharp, vibrant, while beta pinene is, in particular, one of the words used is hops. Now, when you see hops used to describe any terpene in cannabis, you're immediately going to be thinking indica, because indica has a characteristic terpene that characterizes indica profile called humulene. Alpha humulene is relative to beer, hops. The Latin for hops is humulus lupulus, humulene. That kind of shiver me timbers that you get when you take a drink of beer, the same thing you get sometimes when you hit a certain strain of weed that gives you that like hair stand up shiver kind of thing. That is partially humulene making those flavors and the shiver me timbers feeling. So yeah, if you've ever noticed a similarity between beer and cannabis in the taste and some of the undertones of it, it is there indeed. I believe myrcene's present in beer as well. Anyways, I thought all that was very, very interesting. Now, I hope it is actually making sense to people who are actually paying attention and are interested in this information, because it really will help you understand going to the dispensary and seeing a strain of cannabis and understanding what it is. Say you understand that alpha pinene is sativa characteristic, right? But you're not paying enough attention, or you just don't give a shit enough. You think you can understand it without learning the rest of it. And you go to the dispensary and you grab one that's alpha pinene only, and it's got terpinolene dominant, and that's all you look at. You don't pay attention to nothing else. You get home and you have jacked up delta-9 profile, trans-caryophyllene, no beta-caryophyllene, osamine at levels where you should see humulene and linalool if you were looking for indica. These are all things that, if you want the cannabis that you are seeking for the experience that you would like to have, it's important to understand everybody's experiences are different, yes, but that falls within a spectrum. And you're not going to have one person hallucinating pink elephants and another person like ripping their skin off. It doesn't work like that. But it falls within a range. There is a spectrum of different. So you have to kind of understand how these terpenes affect you within that spectrum, know how cannabis kind of affects you, and then start to understand, okay, this terpene is higher in this cannabis and it hits me in this way. It tastes like this. The aromatic dominance is this with these undertones. And then you start, after learning about all these, which I hope to be able to take my knowledge and what I've done in doing that, understanding all of this shit, and make a generalized, like the pinene formula, a way for people to not have to understand all of the terpenes and how they affect them independently in order to then learn to apply terpological protocol. I'm pretty sure it will work for people if people would just take a second to understand the basic terpenes. It's not hard. You got beta-caryophyllene, relaxation. Just to understand the difference between beta and trans-caryophyllene is it's a really big thing. Beta-caryophyllene is representative of indica and connects to CB2 receptors in your stomach and your gut and throughout your body. Myrcene amplifies the sedative nature of beta-caryophyllene. But the most common form of beta-caryophyllene is trans-caryophyllene, which you're going to see most often in cannabis. You'll see it in indicas and in sativas. However, beta-myrcene has an easier time making the experience lean more towards CB1 psychoactivity than it does with beta-caryophyllene. It has an easier time proliferating to CB1 receptors, the delta 9 that's in the cannabis, as opposed to with beta increasing sedation. So yeah, I talked to my girlfriend about it a lot, and she says that I speak in too big of, like, well, one, I stutter sometimes, and I know sometimes I do jump around sentences, but when I'm writing and stuff, one, I know I have some run-on sentences. I just think if I could, I will eventually. I will figure out a way to put it in language that is like understood by everybody and not looked at like I'm accused of fucking using ChatGPT or some shit. True story. Kind of funny. All right. Where did my torch go? Oh, it's out on the table. Damn it. Well, actually, I got my little lighter here. We'll just use a little one. So yeah, that is new information, by the way. The alpha pinene being the majority of the profile there. Alpha pinene sharper relative to sativa. All of that is from, you can look it up down in this references below, the references below on the description. Like my nose hit the nail on the head with the aromatics of alpha and beta pinene and the application of alpha pinene. The fact that alpha pinene, now I had an idea that alpha pinene was more prevalent than beta pinene in the cannabis, but I was honestly thinking more towards in sativa, which kind of, yes, but seeing that graph that shows alpha pinene taking up the majority of the terp profile definitely validates that is the case. If sativa is indeed the precursor to indica, that just makes sense that would be the case. That you would have more alpha pinene in sativa, and that it would be possible for alpha pinene to express on an indica lacking alpha pinene or having a little bit of alpha pinene. And I also want to try to get a better understanding of why exactly with blueberry yum yum and with golden pineapple cross with cherry pie, you end up with terpinolene dominance and all of the weirdness that you end up with the blueberry yum yum. For some reason it's slipping my mind. Was that an alpha pinene only? Yeah. What am I thinking? Yeah, it's opposition in totality. It was alpha pinene only, the blueberry yum yum, terpinolene dominance with myrcene under that. Now, the B52 bomber, interestingly enough, is beta myrcene with terpinolene after that. So those other two strains were terpinolene dominant and then beta myrcene. This B52 bomber is beta myrcene and then terpinolene. And also has many other sativa characteristics throughout. Osamine 0.32%, transcaryophylline, even though it's the most common terpene. More relative to indica, sativa terpologically. Just like lost track of my thought. All right, let me get my terp sloper up to heat here. We have to use this little itty bitty lighter. No, we don't. Hang on a second. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my good torch, my big one. Ah, son of a bitch! Chops, move that fucking bone. You're lucky it didn't stab me. Damn thing. My neighbor gets my dog these bones. He has big old pork bones out there that he chews up. It takes him a fucking year and a half to eat. But she gets him these cheaper bones that he can like crunch. I don't know if they're dehydrated or what the fuck they are, but he can crunch them. And he crunches them and then leaves sharp ass fucking steak knives made out of goddamn pig bone or whatever it is laying all over the floor. And then I trip on it, even though I never look up and I'm always looking at the damn ground when I'm walking. Somehow I end up tripping on it. You know, when you scroll through Facebook and Instagram, hell, even YouTube, you would think that every single thing that happens to a person is a symptom of ADHD. They're like, do you ever scratch your neck when it itches? People don't understand that ADHD people, they just have to scratch a little bit longer when their neck itches. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Do you get energized while listening to a song? No, the one I saw earlier was when you arrive somewhere, do you sit in the car for a long period of time? You may have ADHD because people with ADHD have trouble changing tasks. So they sit in the car for like, what? Like, it kind of makes sense a little bit, but like, I don't think that just because you, like, I do it all the time. I pull in and I listen to music. I like sitting in the car because I like listening to my music for a few minutes while I'm sitting there. And I feel like Mr. Cool Guy. I'm like cool in my car with my bumping music. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So that's why I sit in the car for a few minutes jamming out. But not because I have trouble switching tasks. I do have ADHD, but I don't have trouble switching tasks really at all. It doesn't bother me just to drop something and move on to the next thing. Man, now I like to have things like at least in an area where I can like not just fucking. If I'm digging a hole, I'm not just gonna like stop halfway into the shovel, halfway through the dirt, and just drop it and walk away. I know it's kind of a bad analogy, digging a hole. Oh, I'm heating up my banger so I can get high. The little flame is going out now. It's gonna die. Little stupid little flame. Motherfucking thing getting on my nerves. Well, that helped a little bit. All right, we're going to have to use a little lighter, people. That's the second time I just dropped the fucking cat pearl off of there. I got to sit back a little bit. I got a fan on the other side of the room, and it's blowing on this little tiny flame. I'm glad I put butane in this little tiny fucking lighter because this thing is like the little engine that could whenever I don't have a lighter to use to smoke my dabs. And yes, I got a dab on the tool right there ready to go. Some delicious B-52 bomber. All right. Oh boy. Cap? Not Cap like that. Don't even go there. I am not Cap. Of course, Smart ass Gen Z. And cup. Yuppie, yup. Cap, yap. Think just like the yap. App, cap, yap. I've been called a yapper many a times by Gen Z who've read my papers, read my write-ups. They're like, all you're doing is yapping. Yap, yappity yap. I'm like, you played way too much fucking Fortnite, buddy. I got water in my mouth. That's ucky. Get the fuck out of there. Too much water. I don't know how that happened. Better. All right. Melt time. Cheers. B-52 bomber, finally. All right, now that it's melted, now I can actually get it going. Oh, that was tasty. I love the taste of terpenylene on low temps. It's definitely by far not my favorite terpene, but the taste of it is fucking amazing. You can't go wrong with the taste of terpenylene. It's like a fruity, I describe it as juicy fruit. Very fruity. There we go. Fuck you, lighter. Let me turn that fucking fan. That's part of the issue. It's not heating the goddamn thing up as hot as it should. The fan blowing right on this little tiny torch flame and barely got enough fucking... Posh, get the fuck off me, you little bitch! Scratch my fucking leg again, I'm gonna rip your fucking neck off, you little bitch. Goddamn fucking cat. Fucking hate that goddamn cat. Seriously about to get rid of her. She doesn't fucking get fixed, I'm gonna wring her fucking neck. Scratch me again, bitch. I'm gonna fucking punch you across the room. Fucking hurt. I'm not really gonna kick her, but god damn it. Fuck. You're mean to your animals. You think my animal can understand my talk? Okay. Fucking animals eat better than I do. Literally. Most of the time. And I only say most of... See, she scratched my fucking ankle and it's itching like a son of a bitch. Toss, that better be your nose and not your fucking foot. If you scratch me again, I'm gonna hurt you. be nice if this lighter would give me a little bit of fucking flame so I could actually... I thought I had enough butane that I could use my fucking terp slurper this evening, but I guess I thought incorrectly. I'm not even gonna fucking... I get irritated, as you can see. I got a fucking regular lighter not working now, and this lighter not working. The only thing that bothers me is the length of time that it takes me to heat it up, and then I get to melt the dab and then hold the lighter to it again. I hate, and I do this all the time to myself. Run out of butane and I have to sit here and torture myself with a fucking mini flame. The best idea when you're doing this is to try to keep the whole thing warmed up and then just get one spot hot and try to keep your dab heated up and burn it on that one spot in the barrel. Because with the flame this small, if you let the dab go up into the valve area where the larger pearl is, it's extremely difficult to fucking get it up to temp. Alright, let me take another fat one. Sure, heat the plate up. Hold it right underneath the barrel so the heat radiates up directly into the barrel, hopefully. See, this is how to take a fucking dab whenever all you have is the fucking bare necessities. I guess the bare necessities would be like a piece of fucking tin foil in a soup can or some shit. A match. Good luck with that. Better off roll a joint. Put it in some tobacco or a cigarette. That way the cherry of the cigarette will ignite the dabs behind it. About the best idea I could think of if you had nothing. No banger. Nothing at all. Somebody said something about people are excited for to be able to buy infused joints. I'm like, you can buy fucking dabs. Why do you care about infused joints? Infuse the goddamn joint yourself. Silliness. Cheers. Much. Very nice. Another cool thing about alpha pinene, beta pinene is pinene is a good expectorant. So if you have something high in pinene levels, it's good for coughing shit out of your lungs. There's been several studies about that kind of pinene relative to your lungs, viruses in your lungs, shit like that. And you can taste this terpenylene. That was a pretty hot hit. Even with a small lighter, but still got it up to temp pretty good. And Terpenoline tasted nice all the way through that. Even the hotter temp tasted real nice. Still had that nice, I don't like to even call it fruity because it's not like apple. It's not like a fruit that I know of. It's more like a gelatin fruit, like a gelatin fruity gelatin. Or juicy fruit. I call it juicy fruit bubblegum. That's what I think it smells like. But I guess Gen Z, Gen Alpha probably doesn't know what the fuck juicy fruit is. Or do they? I don't know the answer to that. Oh boy. Some good shit. All right, let's finish this off. Still a little bit of hit left in here somewhere. There's some on the valve here. And I can still see it nice and smeared all over the barrel too. Melty, melty, melty. Melty, melty, drippy. Drippy, drippy, melt. Melty, 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 melty. Melty, followed by bubbly, followed by bubbly, bubbly. Bubbly in my banger, bubbly in my rig. Bubbly in my banger. I'm gonna get high tonight. Bubbly, 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 bubbly. Then there is some smoke. Here comes the doggy. Come here, Choppy. Shut up, Posh. Leave Choppy alone. Did you hear her hiss just now? She being a bitch. That was my cat hissing. That was a cat. Come here, Bubba. You want to say hello? No, don't stare the cat down. Come here. Chop. Hey, come here. Choppy. Stop staring the cat down. Especially Kitty. She really will fuck you up and she's too old to play with you. Come here. Come here. Leave the cat alone. Leave the cat be. Come here. Come say hello. Coconut dog. He got a coconut oil bath earlier. I took coconut oil and rubbed all in his fur and all over his skin. He likes it. And boxers, if you didn't know, king boxers are really bad skin condition dogs. He has several lumps and knots on him that I would like to take him to the vet and get taken off, but I would like to do a lot of things. Got one here on the end very outside of his ear. One here on his side and one on his tail. He's my lumpy dog. See, he doesn't like me paying attention to anybody else, though. I can't talk to anybody. I can't touch anybody. He can. I go to my girlfriend's house. He can jump up and nuzzle her and play with her and touch her, do whatever he wants. But if I walk up, I can touch him. As soon as I touch her, he don't try to bite, but he just starts barking and acting stupid. Being a big spoiled brat. He needs to knock it off. He's a big spoiled brat. Because he's with me all day, every day. Even when I'm in the car, he's like, oh, gotta go with Dad. Go for a ride with Dad. If I try to leave him here, he barks. I leave him at my girlfriend's. He lays at the door and whines, or just lays there and stares at the door. Once in a while, he'll sit on the couch with my girlfriend and wait for me. I've actually come back to him with fucking, like, actually crying. Like, yeah, he always has winkers in his eyes and stuff, but I've actually come back when I left him at my girlfriend's before, and his face was wet. Like, wet. Like, his whole face was wet from, I guess, crying. I did not know dogs cried, but apparently they do. Because he's not usually wet there. I have a rap song stuck in my head. Rack City, bitch. 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 10, 20s. No, I'm in 50, bitch. Some shit. I don't know. I am not a rapper. That's not true. I can sing like Eminem and shit like that. I haven't for a long time. But Without Me, I know I still remember the lyrics to that one. That's some old school OG shit. I should do a TikTok of that. Without Me. Because I don't have to lip sync it. I know it. All right. Anyway, if you're out there, I hope you have a lovely day, evening, whatever time of day, or night it is, wherever you are in the world. Hope you take it easy. There's a lot of information. Oh, I'm on my bed. There's a lot of information on my locals, so I don't know. I put news on there too. It's not just that usually it's just me rambling about my thoughts and what I've sussed out of the whatnots and what have you. But yeah, anyway, have a lovely evening, everybody. Take it easy. In the stream.